what I want you to think about when you come here today, and we think about fighting. First of all, what I teach you here today, don't go home and teach this. Don't go home and try to teach this. You don't know enough. It's like trying to say, I'm going to go home and I'm going to teach you Chinese after having one class Chinese, okay? Doesn't mean that you can't work on things with the people that understand this system. But if you go home and you try to teach this right out of the box to other fighters that are there, it's just going to increase levels of frustration for you. Okay. Some of you might have seen this class already. The best teacher on this material is Duke Schoen. Okay? He's from Artemisia. He and I have known each other for about 24 years. And it's funny, he was knighted when he was, I believe, 17 years old. Okay? And I was, I think, about 20 or 21 when I ran into him. We ran into each other at an event. We're similar heights, similar builds. He's a little heavier than I am right now. You know, we spent a lifetime apart from each other, and because we have the same types of styles, essentially, in body types, we've come to a lot of conclusions, and we had to make adaptations based upon our size. We're much smaller men fighting much larger men. And so really, when you get into the philosophy behind this, fighting is fighting, and that's what it comes to. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're fighting with your hands, it doesn't matter if you're fighting with your feet. I don't care if you're fighting with rapier, I don't care if you're fighting with pole arm, two swords, sword, shield. I'm not here to say this is the one true way as far as a style goes. This is not A-frame. This is not Old Castle. This is not Goofy Foot Forward. That's not what this is, guys. This is actually to teach you how to fight. You don't know how to fight. And it's not your fault. You just haven't been instructed to fight. Now that's a pretty, arrogant statement to say you don't know how to fight. Okay. Probably a more accurate statement is you don't know how to think about fighting. And that's what we're really saying. When that person knows how to fight, or that person's a good fighter, you just don't know what you're really saying. The biggest obstacle that we have as a fighting community is that we do not speak the same language. Okay? What we're going to teach you here today is a language that everyone can use. We'll teach you an approach that all excellent fighters, all your top 10% of your fighters across the SCA, across any martial art, are doing these things. And the reason why they're the top 10% is because they have mastered these things more than other individuals. Okay? Barnes is not that fast, guys. Everybody thinks he's fast, but he's not that fast. No. What he has done is he has mastered these principles. He might not explain them to you in this fashion, but as an experienced fighter, you start talking with him, you'll understand that he's actually doing the same thing that all the other top end fighters are doing. And I use him because he is probably one of the 2 or 3 best fighters across the SCA. We just happen to be fortunate enough to have him here. So, even if you don't fight, you can take this class and become an excellent fighting coach. Let's think about it, guys. Most NFL coaches who are experts in their field, they don't play NFL football. They didn't play collegiate level football. They might have been lucky to play high school football. So think about that, okay? Think about that from an instructor point of view. Someone can be informed, but they have had to spend the time increasing that knowledge base to become informed. So, this kind of comes back to that original statement. Don't try to do this at home. Not yet. And just because you take this class once doesn't mean that you're not going to get something out of it the next time you take it, and the next time, and the next time, and the next time. If you ever have the opportunity student gets to see Sean's class, you should be there. You should go. I'm not bragging. I give you this information so that you understand that it is repeatable. I've been a knight now for 13 years. In that time, I've instructed, coached, and trained 10 other individuals to the level of knight. A lot of success in a short amount of time. Now, there would have been more success if I would have been able to communicate to those students quicker. That's my fault. What Sean has given me is he has given me a language that I can communicate with people. And as an example, I have 2 students that I've been working with, a gentleman that's been fighting about 20 years. He's made more progress in 6 months than he has in the whole 20 years. Right? Because he has a systematic way of thinking about it, approaching fighting, and executing. So let's get into it. I have all this stuff available, so if you guys want to send me a message on Facebook or send me an email, I can forward it to you so you can kind of look back and give you the highlights. Okay, so what's really happening in a fight? You're going to laugh, but there's 5 things that happen in a fight, and that's it. I think. You have range. Okay, so let's talk about range. Most of the people around here have heard about it. Let's talk about range. You specifically need to see a sword for this. But it can be a pole arm, it could be a spear, it could be anything, but sword is the most convenient, probably the most readily used weapon. This is my sword, this is what I use, it's 36 inches long, some people use shorter ones, some people use longer ones, it doesn't really matter, but whatever you're comfortable with. Okay. So, we get our sword, we get our shield. Zygmunt, if you just stand up there and be my crash test dummy, I'm not going to hit you or anything. You don't even need that. You can just stand there. Just use it demonstrate purposes. Okay, you stand over there. Okay, so we're here. All right. This is B range. All right, guys. This is really nothing's going to happen out here that you don't ever want to get caught in the aspect of, well, he can't hit me. Bang, you're dead. Okay, because we'll talk about transition here in a little bit. So we just want to familiarize ourselves with a couple terms so we'll have a baseline of information to go from. So this is D range. This is the safest place that we could be. All right? We're really not engaged. We're going to really be mindful of this. Okay? C range is here for me. That might not be his C range, but this is my C range. Okay? All right? We'll talk about the different sides of the offense and the defense. We're going to talk about offense currently. And I'm going to spend most of the time speaking about offense because from a defensive perspective, you pretty much know everything that you need to know because you're hardwired that way. It's the fight or flight. Well, 98% of people want to run. They don't want to get hit. The ability to do the reactions that built in to protect themselves. However, very few individuals are willing to do violence to another individual. I happen to be one of those people. Some people might say that's a little crazy, but that's okay. So this is C range, okay? I can hit it. All right? Now, C range on the sword, very tip of the sword, very fast, not a lot of power. Very, very fast. Okay? B range is where the gunfighting really starts. Okay? We're in B range here. About 4 to 6 inches down on the sword. Got about 12 to 14 inches in there. Okay? So that's B range. If you're standing in here and not doing something, you're dead. You're dead, guys. You're dead. And then we have A range. Okay? And then the A range on the stick, face of the sword, lots of power, not a lot of speed, not a lot of versatility. So the optimum range, and then you can even get in here and clinch and start hugging on an A range. Okay. So the optimum range is B range. Okay. where I can employ the most advantageous part of the sword of the combination of speed and power. So, that's what we say on the range side. It's very important that you understand and control range. Okay? And this is what footwork's about. So we control the range. We're constantly fighting. So we switch our feet up. Okay? So we're taking different angles, but we're still really controlling the range of what we're trying to do within those different groups. Okay? So the next thing that happens on the offensive side is your shot selection. Lethal targeting versus non-lethal targeting. That's pretty simple. Don't really need to go any further than that. You all know what's a kill and what's not a kill. Your perspective activity. Now, I'm sorry. I skipped target recognition. Okay, because I just went directly to shot selection. Target recognition. You need to be able to see what's available on your opponent. Okay? Let me ask you a fundamental question. Do we need to see a target to hit target? No, we don't. So we have the obvious targets that are presented that we can see. We have targets that we cannot see. Most people do not think of fighting in that regard. They only will swing at the targets that are presented. They don't ever think about targets that are there that they can't see. They allow their own shield, their helmet visors, the position of their sword, the position of your opponent, all of those things. Allow them to dictate and limit themselves as what they're allowed to strike. Okay. The other aspect is shots that we can't, or shots that we create. Okay. So, I'm going to get into this a little bit more later on. Combinations are bad. You throw combinations, you waste your time. What am I really saying? I say it in such a strong regard. I've always said it that way. But recently, I thought about rephrasing. How many times a year have gone up there and see the guy doing the windshield wiper? They're throwing mud at the wall, guys. They're not aiming at anything. There's no shot selection there. That's just, they're just throwing. Okay. However, if you look at extremely high-end fighters, that much right there, that slight of emotion right there made them to react. So I had to do that to get them to move their offense and their defense over here, so then I can strike over here or in the leg, whatever it is that I'm trying to do. And it is okay to throw a shot knowing that they're going to block it, okay, to get them to move it, so you can either go to the leg, you can double back up on the head. So when we think about combinations, set combinations are bad. Like I said, we'll get it done. Just give you a brief overview. I want to give you some more philosophy and what's going on. The delivery of your shots and your recovery of your shots. These are probably the most neglected portion of anyone's fight. Your shots need to land perpendicular to your target. Okay, they need to land at right angles, and your shots need to get on a right angle as quickly as possible. When we start bringing these shots out in these big wide arcs, they become slow and they lose power quickly, and it takes a tremendous amount of energy to control those shots when we're doing these things. This is why the flat snap in our particular activity is probably the best shot that you can throw. 90% of the time. Most of your shots should be there. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to conserve energy, we're trying to maximize force and speed growth. All right, recovery. recovery. I'll talk more again about all of these things when I get into philosophical stuff. Again, I just wanted to give you guys a baseline of what's going on. When we throw a shot, okay, so we start here. I don't care if you start here, I don't care if you start here, I don't care where you start. shot, it has to come back. Well, that's too slow. It's faster if I just do this. No, it's not. If you do not recover, not only are you going to hurt yourself, you are not going to throw the shot properly. It will not land with the force or the control that you use to strike the technique. If they can recover faster than you can recover the sword, the shot was never there. Wasn't there. Probability? None. And you'll learn. Okay. Now, here's a different way to recover your sword. So everybody does this when they do recover. Okay, that's great. That's a good recovery. Bring it back here. Okay. Here is probably the best way to recover to conserve energy. Doesn't mean that you should always use this, but here's a unique perspective that people don't think about. So here I throw. Then really move my hand. Did I increase my position so I can get I want it? Change my range, certainly. So what happened there? What's going on in that fight there? Okay. So I throw. Okay. We're at C race. He's like, ah. Anybody ever here been kicked by a horse? I've been kicked by a horse. It sucks. But what they teach you is when you're dealing with horses is if you're going to get kicked, don't move away from the horse. Why? Because the horse gets to extend and put all the power behind it. All right. It's the same thing if you do any other martial sport. But if I move in, what happens is it changes the distribution of power. And when the actual point, when the energy will be expended. It's still going to suck. It's just not going to suck as bad. So, when we do that, so if I'm sitting here and I'm throwing, and my opponent sees that, and we're at C range, and he says, ha, he throws, so he blocks, and I recover, I spent zero energy because it's really easy to move these muscle groups as opposed to this. Okay, this is a tremendous amount of energy. Now, their arc of power, their point of delivery, is still way back here. I changed mine mentally and physically. Position my feet, my hips, my shoulders, everything that's involved. I've oriented them properly to deliver the next correct strike. So, that's just something to think about as far as recovery goes. And we'll give you drills to do all these things. Defense, same thing, range. Okay, I'm defending, I'm blocking at Sigmund. All right, he's taller, he's longer than I am. He might use longer swords, he might use shorter swords. Where's he at? Where's he at? You know, just because I'm in my C range, that might be his B range. Or my D range might be his B range. I need to be aware of exactly what's going on. Your blow recognition. What's coming at you? What's going to happen is you're going to see, first you're going to see up or down. That's what you're going to initially notice, up or down. Always happens, every single time. You'll always recognize up or down. And I don't care if you're left-handed or you're right-handed. You'll notice left first, right second. Up, down, left, right. That's the order of the recognition of the blows that you're going to see that are going to come at you. Okay. So, defensive selections, what are we going to do? Are we going to block? Are we going to move away? Are we going to block with the sword? Or are we going to receive the blow? Don't ever think about that as a fighter. So you can come on, back up for a minute. Bring a sword. Bring a sword, don't need shield. So, Sigmund and I are fighting, swing it to the left. I don't even block it because I know by him doing that, bang! Because every single time I've studied him, I'm just saying, and I'm just using an example, I've studied the opponent. Fine, I'm going to receive the leg shot to get a kill. Dangerous, because guys, no whining, there's no crying. He says light, mine's good, okay? Don't cry. Suck it up, move on, up it up. So, that's what's happening in your defensive shot selection. Here's the delivery side of your defense, guys. Just like we have delivery on the sword, we have delivery on the shield. Okay? How we're going to block. Okay? The recovery. Always come back to good defensive position. Offensively and defensively, recovery is the most neglected thing. I've said that a few times now. It's because it's the most neglected thing, and it's probably what most of you are doing in here the most incorrect. So, that's kind of a dry, boring, philosophical standpoint of what's happening in a fight. It's pretty simple, guys. It's pretty simple. So, let's really get into why you're here. What are your goals? What are your goals? Think about it. What are your goals? What are your goals? Why are we doing this? Why'd you come out on Saturday and drive out in the middle of the cornfield, listen to me blather around? What are your goals? Improve your heart. Improve your heart. You gotta learn on a person. It's not to become king. It's not to be a Jew. It's not to be a knight. It's to be the best possible fighter that you can be. If you maximize your potential in anything, all the other accolades will come with it. All the other perceived notions of success will come out of those things. It takes a tremendous amount of discipline and a lot of work. You're going to have to do it. But we're going to send you home with maybe the tools that you do these things on your own. And they will fit easily within that very hectic life that we live is modern people. Okay? You give me 30 minutes a day, every day a week, for 4 months, well, for 5 days a week, for 4 months. Sean's even got it down to 1 day a week, but we don't see enough progress fast enough for people to hang in there. So if you can do it 3 to 5 times a week, you're going to notice a tremendous amount of dividends that will pay you back for your effort. Okay. So again, I talked about changing your perception as a fighter. Okay. Now, so many times in the past, in fact, it still happens now, unless you've been plugged into an instructor that happens to be more recent, is how many people grew up with the pain bag philosophy? Meaning, when you do something wrong, you get the snot whacked out of you, and you go home, oh man, I can't do mom for a week. Why couldn't he just said, don't do that? You know, it's still positive, negative reinforcement, okay? And that's the school of thought that I grew up in, and I even taught in that regard for a while. But it's a flawed way of approaching fighting. Okay, what happens is people get injured, they can't come out, they can't practice. So practice, actually I should say training. Training needs to be safe. Training. Okay? And if you were in the military or police force or even in the EMT, or even, you know, depending on what you do for a living. Some people that are like park rangers and whatnot, you have all these other things that you actually have, these dangerous activities that you have to train, okay? You train so that when we go to actually execute these things, we're safe. We do it safely. Okay? So we're talking about training, we're talking about practice. Totally two different things. So instead of training in a fashion of where people go home with hematomas that are debilitating for months on end, or we got torn up knees or sprained ankles, what we need to do is we need to dial that back in the training session and talk about that. And when we're training, what we're going to do is we're going to increase the ability to absorb knowledge much, much faster. All right. Now, if I were to go to any of you and say, unless you're a construction expert, I just use this example. So if we have any construction people in here, or carpenters, just bear with me. You'll see what I mean. If I said, build me a house, how many people do really build a house? You can't no way. There's too much involved. I mean, the puzzle is too complex. But if I said, okay, get a shovel, dig a hole, make it square. Okay, I can do that. Dig a hole. All right. See that big pile of cinder blocks over there? Yep. All right, put those in the ground. Put them in. You can do that. Okay. You know 2x8s over there? Yep. Okay. Build another square on top of that and start running them every 18 inches. Right here. And you guys can start seeing where I'm going. And we put walls on it, and then we build the next floor, okay? And then we build it, put the joists in there. You understand, when we break it down in smaller and smaller and smaller pieces, it becomes pretty easy. So that the task is not overwhelming. And that's really what we're getting at. Is we're going to break down fighting in smaller and smaller things. Hey, there's a man that's a graduate of the Church of the Stick.
I swear by it.
Well, he learned that the pain bag philosophy is the incorrect philosophy. We just talked about that. So, it's okay though. You got to be able to put some smack down. So, that's what we're doing, guys, really. What we're doing is we're taking this big, huge, complex thing, and we're shrinking it down into very small bits of information that we can compartmentalize and analyze and then utilize in the correct order. Okay. Another analogy I use is this. Who in here plays checkers? Rules are pretty simple, right? So is the play. Who in here plays chess? I didn't say play chess well.
Okay,
I said play chess. And that's my point.
Right.
Okay? Most fighters are playing chess. You got those groups of individuals, they're playing chess. And not only are they playing chess, they're playing chess at a high level. So, it's easy to understand the rules of chess. But the possibilities are endless as far as play goes. Okay? And that's what you're really trying to do. Okay? You're going to have to spend time with this to master this. This is not going to, you'll get a moment today where the light bulb does come on, but that's really the beginning. And you need to start spending time. So, there's 3 phases of learning. There's the training part. There's the practice part, and there's the evaluation. All right. I thought about this. I taught this class, I taught this class, I taught this class, and I feel jumping now because that's one I don't see that out there. All right. In the training session, think about it this way. Think about fighting as being a math class. So we go train. All right. We're in class, we're the teacher's writing math problems out there on the board. We're sitting there and we're learning it, and they teach us, like, okay, this is right, this is wrong, okay, we got it. Good deal. All right. Now the practice part, homework. Homework, guys. Just going out, spending time out in the classroom, doing this stuff on your own. Okay. Homework. Practice. Doing this for 23, 24 years now, and I'm still just tell everybody. I hate it. But I like having success. And you can tell, we'll practice. Good stuff. So, the evaluation. Study, practice. We got back with our instructor, correcting our behaviors, and showed us how to do things. So, that's evaluation. All right. A lot of people get freaked out by evaluation. You'll see talented players go to a tournament that's perceived to be of high value. They get crushed. Wheels fall off the wagon. All right. You need to do this enough that you're comfortable with whatever environment that you're in. Okay? Don't think about the evaluation. Don't think about, oh my God, I'm being judged. What you need to think about is what am I going to learn from this test? All right? And again, I feel this from my friend Sean because it's part of the math analogy. When you get back your test, everybody does something to you get back your test, got a 98. You don't say, man, I got a 98! You say, I got 2 wrong. Suck! I got 2 wrong. Wait a second. You got a 98. Yeah, but I got 2 wrong. Okay, I've been giving this test for 23 years, and the highest score we've ever had is a 72, and you got a 98. But you don't care about that. You care about the 2 that you got wrong. And that's good. That's good. Because what that means is you're continually focused on how you can improve. What can you do better? And that is actually the correct attitude. Now, I told the people that were here in the beginning, Sean and I have spent a lifetime apart, but all of my students, and he does the same thing, and we kind of laugh at each other when we get together because it's like we're long lost brothers. And I was an Esquire. God help him. What are you doing? What kind of range control is it? You have no shot selection. Your delivery was terrible. You refused to recover. What's going on? Why are we even out here? Continually. Yep, you did pretty good. But right there, we do spend a lot of time watching video and figuring out what they are doing right and what they are doing wrong. And I do tell them what they're doing right because I want them to continue to do those things. That I am a taskmaster and I will stay on them and stay on them and stay on them. Because it's not about me. It's about them. We have made an agreement, and my agreement is to help them become a better flight and achieve their goals. Okay? And so that's what this is about. It's not for me to feel better about myself or being sharp. It's to help them achieve things that they want to achieve. And I was fortunate enough to have really good instructors my whole time as a fighter to help me achieve the things that I was looking forward to experiencing in the SCF. So, we talked about our failures and focusing on them, and we definitely do learn more from our failures than we do our successes. It's very easy to kind of run around and wave the flag and say, "Look at me, I'm the greatest thing ever." Well, even when you win a tournament, you're just the one that had the least amount of deficiencies that day. That's all that says. So I can guarantee you I can find things wrong with your fight. So you need to really think about, what you're doing on and off the field. And I say all of this because a trap that people fall into is it's multifaceted. It is a variety of traps that they fall into. They're not honest with themselves, and they're not honest with their opponents that they're fighting with, and they're not honest with people that they're trading. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to be rude. It doesn't mean that you have to be mean. What it means is if being polite doesn't work for your student, sometimes you have to use other techniques that might seem a little more aggressive. And you have to be able to adjust the thing. But if you're not honest with yourself, you're not going to continue to improve as a fighter. And this flows into this next trap that it happens a lot for unbelts. Unbelts that start getting success. What happens is they get comfortable. And it happens for a lot of nights too. It does. It's not just unbelts. But what happens is at that point where people really start to succeed. They start putting all these elements together and they start racking up body count and start, winning. All right? They're really no longer focusing on the fighting. What they're focusing on is they're focusing on their ego. Okay? And they're lying to themselves. Okay? So they're comfortable in their process. I'm going to keep doing this and do all this stuff because look at all these tournaments I'm winning. Look at all these people. I go to practice and I just destroy everybody. Well, okay. All right. Well, let's go back to the math test now. All right. 7th grade math, easier than 8th grade math, isn't it, guys? 8th grade math is easier than 10th grade. And progression, all right? So if you're comfortable and you think that you are a world beater, well, come to me, and I'll introduce you some guys that will change the perspective of your world. They will give you a harsher evaluation. They will give you a harder test, okay? So what we'll do is we'll find deficiencies. We'll go back. We'll train those deficiencies out. We'll practice those deficiencies, eliminating them. Then we'll go back for another evaluation, okay? Across the rest of the SCA, not so much here in this kingdom, Crown List is the ultimate evaluation. And it still kind of is here because, you know, there's no excuses. But really a better evaluation in our kingdom happens to be Candlemas, Christmas turning, Val Day when it's a tournament, when it's a melee thing, not so much. Red Dragon's kind of starting to be there, and we have a couple other ones. But primarily, Christmas turning and Candlemas are big evaluation points because winning Crown List here sucks, guys. And the reason it is, it is so much work. It's so much work. So you'll have a lot of fighters that are capable of giving you a correct evaluation, but won't fight in certain tournaments because they don't want to deal with the consequences of winning those tournaments. Okay? So if you're really thinking about the fighting and not winning, then you need to go to these evaluations, okay? Other types of evaluations are private practices, all right? Bronis and I set them up a great many times. Like, okay, listen, no new guys. You bring your best 3 guys you got. I'm bringing my best 3, and if I don't have 3, I'm bringing 2 or 1. And I'll, spread the word. And it's a limited thing. And there's not instruction going on there. There's evaluation. Okay. Think about it this way. I'm relative, and I've seen a lot of newer to newish knights do this. Man, I went 6 rounds at Candlemas. Awesome. Awesome, man. You went 6 rounds. 6 rounds is pretty close to the end. Well, wait. Who'd you fight in those 6 rounds? Well, I fought 4 new guys, and I fought Bronis and Edmund. Well, wait a second. Who'd you lose to? I lost to Bronis and Edmund. Okay? Where's your evaluation really? What kind of evaluation is that? I'll tell you another quick little story. This is a new story. Festival of Maidens, last February. I won 26 fights in a row with lose fights. I fought 28 people all day. 27 people all day. I only had 2 fights the whole day. Duke Stephen, Duke Calvin. That's not an insult to anybody that was at that tournament, but it sounds pretty impressive. Man, I fought 26 guys. Well, who are you really fighting in those 26 guys? Some of those individuals had skill. They did, and that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is when you start getting, the evaluations get harder and harder and harder. I passed my evaluation against Duke Stephen. Duke Palomar found some deficiencies, and I had to go practice those. He beat me. So it was a good day, but I didn't look at it from the aspect of I beat 26 guys. I went home and I thought about Palomar for 6 weeks. I did. And I was calling him up because we go to the same practice. When you come to practice, I'm painting my dad's toenails. I don't need to come fight you. I'll beat you at Maidens. Bastard! Get out there, because I'd been whipping on him, and then he thought about me, and he put it on me at Maidens, and there was no excuses. He beat me. He just flat beat me. And I thought about what I needed to do the next time that we came out there. It went pretty good for me. I beat him up again. But it goes back and forth. So what I'm saying is whenever you become comfortable, really start thinking about your evaluation process, because it's not wins and losses, even though that's how ultimately in the success is what kind of fighter are you? I mean, you can stay in the small pool all you want and think that you're a world beater, but if you're not getting out there and testing these skill sets, these tools that were going to help you, then you're not going to have the success that you want. And most fighters don't think about it in that regard. They all think about it as a being king, being duke, being a knight, winning. No, you need to think about what's really happening. So, okay, let's talk about training versus sparring. All right. Training is non-competitive. Training is slow. Training sucks. It sucks. It's drudgery. It's terrible. You got to do it, guys. If you reason why, because you learn more in training. All right, that's the next thing. You learn more. All right. And when you train properly, you train with direction, you train with purpose, and you labor under the correct knowledge. And what I mean by that is if I show you how to throw this kind of raft, that's incorrect knowledge. But if I show you how to throw this kind of raft, that's correct knowledge. Okay? So you need to make sure that the information that you're executing is correct. And this is why it's important to have other individuals that act as your coach that understand this. So when they watch you, they can say, no, your range is wrong. Your shot selection is terrible. Your delivery's off, and you're not recovering. Now, if I say that to some new guy, he's going to stand there and start drooling. All right, but now that I've talked, just, for this little bit that we talked, all of that makes sense to those that were here when we discussed those things. It's much like going down to the subway in Hong Kong and trying to learn Chinese. You spend enough time there in your cardboard box. I think after about 15, 20 years, you might kind of know how to get directions. But if you have, 5 years of advanced language courses and you go to Hong Kong and you go to subway, you learn right away. You don't have to, live in a box down in the subway for 20 years to figure it out. Right? So it's all perspective and where you're coming from and what exactly that we're trying to do. So training. All right, again, training. It's non-competitive. It's slower. It sucks because it's tedious. But you learn a lot more, and we have to do it with direction, purpose, and then the correct knowledge, and with employing the correct knowledge. Okay, what is sparring? People think that fight practice is training. Fight practice. Fight practice is sparring. That's what it is. You have to have both. You have to have training and sparring. One's not more important than the other. They're both equally important. If you're not doing both of them, you're in trouble. Because you got to have that live time in there, just going and working on stuff and stuff that's happening at full speed. Because if you don't get it, you're never going to grow as a fighter either. You become a textbook fighter, but there's no actual real performance or applications that are carried out on the field. Sparring is important because it's competitive. A lot of people are not competitive, and this is a thing that I struggle with because I'm hyper-competitive. I mean, I'll compete you for dust bunny races on the floor. I don't care. I mean, I'll whatever. Let's have a competition. So if you're not having a competitive environment, a lot of people don't know how to deal with evaluations when they happen in tournaments, or when somebody that is hyper-competitive kind of comes out, because those types of individuals are typically aggressive and they're in your space and there's all kind of mental stuff that's going on and people just don't know how to deal with that conflict or conversation. We talked about it being at full speed. Sparring's fun. Man, who doesn't just love going out there and just ripping it? I mean, it's laid back, there's no structure, you just go out there and, so we're doing all this stuff, again, with no direction and no purpose, again. So you got to have both of them, all right? So Make sure that we're balancing them properly. So this is something to consider. This is a sticking point for a lot of people. If you're fighting 2 nights a week, maybe we should give up one of those nights and not fight twice. Some people go, oh. Maybe we should take one of those nights and train instead of fighting. Now, if I get you to fight twice a week and train, woo, I'll take that all day long. But I'm trying not to be greedy, okay? Because there's other stuff that I'm going to ask you to do that you got to plug in during the week, okay? So remember, we got Elwork to do it on all this. So, training, awesome, if you approach it correctly. I don't have to get an armor to train. I should wear a helmet. A couple guys lost eyes because, he doesn't stick. Eyes pretty delicate. It's easy to deal with. All you need to train, sword, shield, or if you're going to do pole arm, doesn't matter. All right. So helmet. Spears, whatever. Helmet. And all you're doing it slow. Okay? And we're going to get into some of those drills here real quick. Some really quick training drills. But I wanted to talk about the difference between training versus sparring. Okay? And just remember, the point of all this is the more time that you spend with anything, the quicker you're going to master it. Okay? We'll be able to identify those deficiencies, and with the proper coach, we can train those out quickly. And we see those deficiencies through training. Vivian, I'm going to have you conquer because I know that you know the 1 through 6 drill. Okay? Okay. So I'm going to have you stand there, and I'm going to have you can even do it with your sword and your shield. And now, when people see the 1 through 6 drill, I know about this. They think the 1 through 6 drill is designed so that they can race from point A to point B and learn how to do the windshield wiper. Windshield wiper is bad. Combinations are bad, guys. It's a waste of your time. Okay? Because, go ahead and get in here. You stand. Do you think that, don't block, okay? I'm not going to strike. Don't block. Do you think this is a more effective attack? Okay? Or do we think this is more effective? Which one killed me? Okay. All right. Americans used to have squadrons and squadrons and squadrons of B-19, B-24, B-52. And we're going to drop so many bombs, we'll kill them all eventually. Yeah, that worked for a time. Well, that worked. That worked 10 years ago in fighting. Doesn't work anymore, guys. That worked 15, 20 years. And fighting is advancing at such a rapid rate, it's changing so quickly that if you don't employ new training techniques, you're going to be left behind. Even people that stopped fighting 3 years ago that have at a very high level and have come back, it is just zoomed past it. You better stay on top of it, and you better employ good practices, because if you don't train these methods, you're going to have trouble when you go out of your little pond. So, what do the Americans do now? We get these crazy planes that are called stealth aircraft. We get these bombs that are laser guided. It's one bomb. It'll go down to the earth, half a mile and blow up. All right? Everybody's dead that we want dead. All right. Different approach. Okay? So think about it in those terms. It's an economy of energy, and it's the execution of effective force. Okay? So the 1 through 6 drill. Okay? This is the 1 through 6 drill. 1, 2, 3. No, I'm trying not to strike my friend here. 4, 5, 6. Okay, those are the target areas. Okay, how we do the 1 through 6 drills, we go 1. Okay, that's just the beginning. All right, I'm going to kind of speed this up a little bit, because then what we do is we go 1, 2, 3, 2, 4. All right, you can see where this is going. Where people get in trouble is they can stand over so they can see. Off hands. Okay. Now, when we talk about recovery, different ways to recover. Okay. So when I do this, I want you to look at the different ways that I'm recovering, because I'm not going to recover the same exact way every single time. Because if I do, the body mechanics will be incorrect and I'll get injured. Okay. People can't do this. And this is what they want to do. They want to throw, and then they want to do this again. That's not going to kill anybody. Well, Ron then, because he's got 24-inch forearm. But normal human beings, okay, so we throw, okay, now we can recover, we throw again, okay, so if we're going to go 4, 5, 4, 5, okay, see what happened there, do a little squat when I recover, okay, another way of recovering 4, 5 is this. You see how I walked to the sword, but I recovered. I didn't do this. It's not a race, guys. You try to race, you're going to go slower. You must have proper recovery so that you can execute your deliveries in the correct fashion. So, if we're going to do 5, 6, 5, 6, okay, turn the sword over. All right, the point of this whole drill is it allows us to understand our body mechanics, range, shot selection, shot delivery, shot recovery, in a fashion so that we can strike whatever our opponent is allowing us to strike. We talked about targets that we can see. We talked about targets that we cannot see. We talked about targets that we would create. For example, okay, by me doing this, all right, that creates a variety of targets that I can now strike. Okay, big 1, okay, I can go 6, I can go 5, okay. It's not designed so that you can go 1, 1. We don't want that. But we do want the ability to be able to strike offside and onside if need to, or we can strike on again. People always want to go onside, offside, or offside, onside. They get this windshield wiper motion, and they're throwing mud at the wall, and they're not actually looking at what their targets are available to. Okay. You really need to slow down the fight. Go ahead.
So proper recovery in what you were just displaying is basically the sweet spot of the stick coming back over your shoulder instead of just a halfway.
It can be either way, whatever you're comfortable with, but what it has to do is it has to come back to the starting point. So if you're a forward fighter like I am, okay, I can't throw it and then do this. I need to bring it back to my starting point, okay? And I can bring it here behind me, like you said, Kit, if I want, because I do throw from here as well, but the majority of my starting position is here, okay? And that's what we need to get to, okay? Here's another drill that Sean doesn't teach standardly, all right? I do teach this one, okay? Taught this one for years. It's called the still mind and still hand. Still hand, still mind. Still hand, still mind. Effectively, what this equates to is Masashi says that you must empty yourself. Okay? All right? I'm not a tree hugger, guys. But there's stuff going on in this activity that they're spiritual. That's the best way to explain it. It's something more than what you currently are. And that's the only other way I know how to explain it. So, what happens is when we have a still mind and a still hand, you'll feel the tension, the energy in you. Okay? Tension can be good and it can be bad. It's how you control it. So, you have this force in you. Musashi talks about striking a man with your will. Killing a man. Killing a man with the energy that's in you. Striking him with your will. We talk about it in our terms from a competitive standpoint in sports of taking their heart, breaking their will, that kind of thing. That's essentially what they're talking about doing. So many fighters, because they don't do all these things that we talked about, and you'll see it today when we fight. They don't understand the target. They haven't spent enough time doing these drills. They haven't spent enough time getting help. So we go there and go ahead and give me the flat snap to the head. So they'll say, okay, well there's the flat snap. Now how am I going to figure out the angle? Now that's an exaggeration, but that much movement, eternity. I mean that is a huge tap for an advanced fighter. They see that, he's going to break off the contact, he's going to recontrol the range, or he'll move to block that. Now, you can do that as a sucker play, where I go ahead and I give you that motion and you move and block it just a little bit. Bang! All right? Now, I created that shot, but that was by design. Most fighters are not like that. They don't have still minds, and if you just empty all the garbage out of your head, continue when I'm fighting, I don't hear anything. I don't see anything other than my opponent. I'm oblivious to the world around me, guys. People all the time screaming my name. Felix, Felix, Felix! My wife, I've been calling you for 5 minutes. I mean, I get it all the time in the backyard when I'm training guys. I'm fighting. There's nothing else that exists right now. So, we don't move the hand. So what it is we're there, and it's exploding. Whatever it is that you're going to do, okay? We don't cheat, we don't, no. Bang. And what happens is when you do that, do you think it's easier to block something as far as, if it kind of starts, you see that this is the end, I'm not thinking you can do it anymore. The fighters, they kind of let the shot unfold, but they kind of throw it and they stop and they throw it again. That's the only way I can explain it. Do that. Can you guys see there? All right. You think it's easier to block that, or do you think it's easier to just block that? I mean, if something's going from 0 to 100, it's much more difficult to block than if something is 20, and 50, and 75, and 5 to 100. So, what that is that specifically, you really need 2 people for that. One person's job is to sit under the tree and drink martinis or beer or Mai Tai or whatever it is. And all you do, and I do it with guys that got a clicker. Got a dog clicker. They move a hand, click. I hate that friggin' clicker. I know, but this beer's cold. Give me another one. We're going to be here all day until you can get 10 of them right. You would be really amazed. I mean, that's a simple, stupid little Pavlovian thing, but it works, and it annoys people because they don't want to hear that clicker. They don't want to hear it.
What is that thing called?
Not move the hand. You're going. Okay, that's it. Once I can get the hand still, the mind enters. The hand's the key. Because what it is you'll see that hand move because there's so much math going on. I mean, those gears are turning. They're trying to figure out the angle, and what they're doing is what's going back and forth. And what it is it's translated into body motion. You'll see people, okay? And I always laugh because you watch guys, Bronis and Ronald are both a master at this, making people feel uncomfortable with their skin. And all he did was do that. He didn't do nothing. He moved his feet 4 inches, and they're going, he's going to come over here and take my dog and come on my food on my fridge. And finally mean it. You move 4 inches, guys, okay? He didn't move at you. He just moves. But what it is he's creating that bad tension in you that's creating all, you're getting all ramped up. You're and you're getting tighter, and you're tired. You haven't done anything. So that's what's going on in the fight, all right? Go ahead.
How do you throw an offside shot without moving your hand before you throw?
Well, I'll show you. I happen to know that. do the sucky part, what on your feet? And oh, it's right, throw in shot. So, watch yourself, because I might hit you.
I'm just gonna put this part out.
I just say, put it up, because I don't want to, all right. All right, that's all it is. That's all it is. Okay. And I might have moved a little bit on that, but I'm trying not to hit bigger. That's what I want to do right there. That's all it is. Come from here, come from the earth, guys. And where you're going to learn that is the more you hit the pedal, you're going to say, well, that didn't feel right. Well, you're going to try different things with your feet and your hips. Okay? And we're going to talk about one of the drills. We're talking about where all the power comes from. We haven't gone through any of this stuff yet. I just need to get your minds right. So this information that we're going to give you, you'll actually spend the time to employ. Because if I don't give you all this boring backstory where I talk, you don't see the value, and so you don't want to execute any of these things. It's just like you're not going to train if you're not going to have success. This is like professional fighters. They hate training camp. They don't want to go to training. Training stinks. Running 8 miles a day, doing 8,000 push-ups and a day. That's terrible. No one wants to do that. I mean, I work out every day. But I don't want to work out. I work out because if I don't work out, then I can't do all this other stuff that I want to do. So I'm selfish. That's why I work out. It's the same thing for training. You have to do it. Okay. We talked about still hand, still mind. We talked about the clicker thing. No one's perfect. You will screw up. Allow yourself to screw up. It's okay. It's okay, guys. Screwing up is okay. It's just when it's pointed out. Just work to correct that. That's and all that stuff. So we talked about the 1 through 6 drill. We talked about the still hand, the still mind. All right, Zigman, come back here again. You know what? Kith, why don't you come here, buddy, because I know you know this. And grab a sword and shield. And it.
Yeah. I'll be right-handed today.
This, you can employ this a couple different ways. I don't, does Sean have, for the 2-second drill, does he have his guys do it live? I've only seen him do it on himself.
No, we didn't do it live.
Okay. 2-second drill is also a pedal drill, but I employ it on a one-on-one training session. And what it is this is what you'll have. We talked about fighters that start to achieve success try to race to the next shot. So what this drill directly revolves around is actually control on your shot, so it helps you have better shot selection and better targeting, which is delivery. Okay? So, called the 2-second drill. New fighters are the opposite. New fighters will go ahead and get there, and they'll see that. Right now, I'm going to show them. They'll say, okay, so show me the flat snap. I'm going to flat snap to the head. Okay, so give me that target so I can strike to drop the shield. Okay. So what they'll do is the new fighter will say, well, there it is. It coincides with the still hand and still mind. They'll kind of go. All right, then you say, well, he's going to flat that. So go ahead and block that. They go, oh, look, he moved it there. They didn't even throw a shot. You see, new people do that all the time. Or against people that they no longer have the confidence level against. You can have a very experienced fighter come out against something like Bronze or Edmund or Lucille or something like that. Oh, he figured my secret shot out. And they won't throw it, even though the shot's there. If I throw that, I'm going to die. So just throw it. Commit to the shot. All right, and this is what we're talking about, committing to the shot. If you blocked this big deal, guess what? You didn't run out of ammo. You got more. Woo, another one. You're telling us, 6 shots. I'm like, ooh, so good for the next round. No, it's not, weapons from the 50s. You make these all day. So, what happens is for all this shot, this 2-second drill is new people must throw at least 1 shot every 2 seconds. However it is you want to employ that, okay? And experienced fighters cannot throw more than 2 shots in 1 second. Because this is what experienced fighters do. All right, there was no recovery, there was no shot selection, there was no I will throw mud until he magically decides to go like this and allow me to kill him. All right? That's terrible. That's not fighting. That's something else. No, that's not fighting. So, that's the 2-second drill, guys. Okay? You can coincide this with what we call slow work, all right? Where we have just like, and you need to be a good training partner, okay? You need to allow yourself to be able to be structured. This is where we come back to training environments and these things, all right? You have to trust your training partners, okay? So that means that Kip knows that I'm not going to go and crack it, because we're just wearing helmets, all right? We're just doing this. Now, you will do this in armor, okay, over time, and it gets faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, so it becomes more and more and more just like full speed sparring. Notice I didn't say training, sparring. You notice it's a training method that's used doing a sparring. So, what happens is we line up, okay? And what we do is we talk about lethal targets and non-lethal targets. For this drill, I am the instructor, you're the student, okay? So that means, as the instructor and as the student, you're going to throw, I'm going to block, and then you're going to throw again, okay? So, he's going to look at lethal targets and non-lethal targets. Now, I'm being a good training partner, and I'm exaggerating the opening.
Pardon me a second, would you take a half step forward? There you go. I'm going to take out the decoration.
Okay. So, what targets are presented? Yes. Okay? So that's a non-lethal. Do you have any lethal targets that are presented? Okay. What's better, guys, if we have a choice between a non-lethal and a lethal target? You wouldn't believe that how many people are programmed to always hit the leg or always hit the arm, or I could have him block, okay? He's not getting that offside, guys. Oh, they throw it. They're going to throw the offside, because they just got to hit it. And that comes from throwing combination, guys, because they got this amazing 5-shot combo that's just going to win them every single thing that they ever wanted to win. Well, what happens when you block the first shot and I throw you out of your rhythm? Well, you're not fighting anymore. You're trying to figure out how your 5-shot combo didn't work, and that's all you know how to throw is the 5-shot combo, because you spent the last 18 months training the 5-shot combo. However, I don't train that way. I hit what's available to me, so if I throw and he blocks it, I know, okay, well, what about this one? Oh, well, hey, that worked. There's no combo in there. But because I train how to hit any part of the body in any order, I can adapt. I can adapt my plan. I'm not committed to a set of actions that confine me and don't allow me to maximize my fighting ability. So, what we're doing is this is the throw, block, throw drill. Okay? So go ahead and throw. Block. Okay? Throw again. What's the next target available? Okay. Now you see how I didn't move and recover back? And I'm doing that, and then what will happen is as we do this, I'll throw again. Throw. Okay. And I'll start to recover. Okay? And we'll start speeding this up. And then what it does is it allows him to step. Now, I forgot one thing. We don't move around when we do this. That's a different drill. The point of this is to stand still and work on the targeting that we have, okay, and our recovery. Okay? So he's working on a lot of things here. So he's working on his range. He's working on his shot selection. He's working on his delivery. He's working on his recovery. Making sense now, isn't it? All those things I talked about in the beginning, I'm kind of repeating himself. I just want to point that out in case anybody. So, go ahead. Okay, see, now I'm working on the defensive things. I'm working on those targets, but I am being a good partner. Okay, that was a poor selection. You have the flat snap back here. Okay, so you went for a non-lethal target. And that's my job as the instructor, saying, yep, okay, you made that selection. That was a good selection, but it wasn't the best selection. Okay, we're trying to get lethal targets. And you'll do that over and over and over and over and over again. This isn't something that you just spend 3 or 5 minutes on. Galen, the traveler, who is Luke Stevens' squire, but I train him often, he comes over, and we filmed a session. We fought for 4 hours. But out of that, I mean, we have what was considered a 4-hour, fighting session. We trained for 3 hours and 30 minutes of that. So we did this drill alone for probably 30, 35 minutes, just he and I. Okay? That kind of gives you some perspective of what's going on. Now, as you do this more, it's going to go quicker, all right? And you're going to get more and more out of it. But by doing this, what that does is all the time you hear, like, I got nothing on you, Vic. I can't hit anything. Well, if you really look at it, I mean, sitting there, guys, you can see all kinds of stuff on it. But what's happening is we're breaking it down. We're slowing it down. At full speed, it looks a lot different. But if you understand the fundamentals of it at a slower speed, that allows you to see the fight at a much more rapid rate. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just shortening that sequence up for you. So, what other drills did I have? Oh, here's a good one. I love this one. Love this one. Because it's really it's an offense and it's a defense, but it's mostly defensive-oriented drill. Okay. Sean's mean. He makes people do this, learn it like 10 blows at a time. I get 10 of nothing at any time. All right? So I shorten it up and I do guys 3 to 5 at a time. And what happens is this is what we do. You ready? You know what I'm getting ready to do. But we're gonna start slow with them. Okay, we're gonna throw 3 first. Okay. All right. I'm gonna throw 3 shots at him. He's slow. He's got to recite back to me. Remember what we talked about when we fight? What we're gonna see is we're gonna see up, down, left, right. That's what we'll see every single time we fight. It'll either be up or down. So that's what we'll recognize first. It'll be left or right. So, for example, this is upper left. That's his upper left. It's right to me, but we're going to have him recite from his perspective, not mine. Okay? So that's an upper left. Okay. Now I'm not going to say it anymore. You just got to remember and recite it back to me. What were they?
Upper right, bottom left, upper left.
Okay. Do you see how uncomfortable he was? You see how much, he's a smart guy, and you see how much he had to think about that? Okay? When this is happening full speed, you think about how that gives people problems. This is why people freeze and they miss shots and they get hit. So if you're used to this and you're used to thinking about things in this perspective, you can recognize the shots that are coming at you and start reciting them back. All you're doing is you're increasing your mental quickness. I make guys do 5 of them, is what I do. Ready?
Lower left, upper left, upper right.
I get it. I will be able to do 10 by the end of the year, but I can't do 10. You need to practice. You need to practice this, guys. You need to practice this. This is invaluable. And these are just simple little drills. You go and you do these drills, you spend an hour in just a helmet or sword shield or pole arm or spear, and you're going to get more out of it than if you go out and fight for 6 hours in the backyard. Again, it's not one or the other. It's both. Okay. We're going to move the rest of this real quick. We'll get you guys out of here. We're going to talk about a compass drill. All right. This is when you're hitting your pellet. Okay. So this is your pellet. All right. This is where we're at. Okay. We got north, south, east, and west. And then we have all the other points on the compass. Yeah, the cardinal points, and we have the, I don't know what the other non-cardinal points are called. The bishop points. The bishop points. So, what I want you to do is I want you to throw 10 shots. Okay, you see how my foot's going forward. 10 flat snaps. That's all these are. Flat snaps. Moving away. And remember when we throw 90% of the time anyway? Flat snap. Why do we throw a flat snap? It's the most economical, it's the quickest shot that we can actually throw. It's the most powerful shot that we can throw. And the way that we have our rule set up, it is a shot that's going to be available to you the most time. Okay. So, we're doing this, okay? Now, why do we do this, okay? Okay? You think, well, this is really basic stuff, all right? I'm going to show you from a boxing perspective. Okay? So for boxing, okay? So if we go left jab, right hook, step off, right hook again. Okay? What happens is when I throw that shot, you're going to freeze him. So I throw it, I step off line, I throw it again. You wouldn't think that that slight change is going to make a world of difference, but it does. It's completely different angles for them. They're conditioned to block things that are coming straight at them, not at angles. This is for any martial sport. This is why they tell you to step around people. This is why they have you throw a left hook. This is why they have you step around a guy when you're going to kick him. This is why they do front kicks and why they do horse kicks. Okay. If you really think about it, the shot's coming from the same exact perspective, but it's just enough variation for where your normal angles are blocking, especially when you have experienced fighters. They're conditioned to block in very specific manner. So if I'm blocking here, and that shot would normally come here, and now it's coming here, even though it looks the same, I did just a slight motion, because the further it gets away from me, the steeper the angle becomes. It's now success. So this is why we do the compass point, okay? So we step in, and then you gotta hit them all. And that's a lot of flat snaps. All right, that's a lot of flat snaps. Okay. So, the next thing is, when we're doing that, at C range, guess what? We're doing it at A range. And now that you do it at A range, A, B, and C range is your feet. You're going to do it with A, B, and C range with your feet and your stick. Okay? This is my belt. Okay? All right. Why am I going to do this? I'm here at C range, okay? Well, from the foot range, I'm really here probably in B range here, okay? So we're going to fudge on this, and I can hit you with the A range part of the stick. You need to understand how to employ various points on this weapon, just like you do any weapon, okay? And you need to understand how your body's going to work. Okay? If you use a variety of different tools to achieve different goals or different actions, ultimately your goal will still be the same, which is to strike your opponent. People get in A range, and this is the only part that they well, why can I do that? Because I practice. Not that I'm any different than anybody else. Yeah, I have a little more flexibility than some people. But there's a lot of people that are more flexible. And people have different statutes and need to be able to use different things. I mean, there are guys that I just can't hit hard enough. I'm just not strong enough. It's not that they're being sick or anything. It's just that they're fighting in a different, place. So it means I have to start being able to hit with different parts of the sword that create more power. And if I don't know how to use that, and I have to, then I can't. Then I lose. So that's why we do these drills. spend all this time bleeding and training. So when we go to the field, like we used to say in the military, we don't bleed in the field. We bleed and train, we don't bleed in the field. Which means that's what we do. Spend the time training, go to that practice part. When we go to the evaluation part, we pass the test. So, that's really it, guys. One final thing that I want to talk about, and it's something that neglected. Touch on a little bit. Diet, exercise. If you put crappy stuff into your body will let you know when you perform stuff. I want you all to exercise because I already told you I'm selfish person. I like it. I like doing it. Don't take care of yourself. You guys exercise. Get in the game. And I'll see. Take care of yourself. Okay? There's a lot of great simple things that are out there that don't demand a tremendous amount of time, that are highly effective. There's all kinds of really good workout programs if you don't want to build one on your own. You can go buy DVDs. You've got lots of good stuff that's out there. Activities that work best for this type of martial art are things that deal with explosive types of training. Okay? You don't have to run 6 or 8 miles a day. Okay? But you have to make sure that you're doing enough cardio that you're going to benefit. 10-yard sprints are a really good activity for what we do. And anybody has 10 yards that they can do. Do 20 or 30. Okay? I tend to do a combination of both. I do sprints and I do running, but kettlebell training is awesome. You can do sledgehammer workouts where you're hitting a tire. Just be careful the hammer doesn't bounce back. But I wouldn't know that from experience. You can do sandbag training, which is in burlap. 40 pounds in. Taking that thing up and throwing it. And I mean, you're just all different kinds of ones, you know? You can do P90X, you can do Insanity, you can do CrossFit, you can do, there's all kinds of stuff. But if you just do straight weight training, you're going to be in trouble, guys. Straight weight training won't get it done for this. Weight training is good. You need some of it, but what I'm saying is it's just like anything. There's a balance there. So, creatine is not bad for you if you're going to drink about 8 gallons of water a day. Okay, especially with this activity, you're going to be hydrated. You're going to hurt yourself bad. You're going to hurt yourself bad. So if you're taking creatine, watch it. Your body needs creatine, and it actually occurs in red meat. But just be really careful. If you're taking supplements, good things to take during the day that when you are fighting. Wheat protein is good. That's a good supplement for you when you're doing physical activity. Casein protein will help you rebuild your muscles at night. That's better for when you're right before you go to sleep. So you need wheat and casein both if you're going to get into that. If you do get a supplement, make sure that it has different amino acids and different things, that it's not just a straight. And just remember, the human body can only process 25 grams of protein in an hour. So anything that you intake over that is waste. Okay? So, if you're really into these training regimens, just keep that in mind. I eat about 150 grams of protein a day. But I work out twice a day, so a little bit more than you work out. But if you take care of yourself, your body will take care of you. I used to have a lot of shoulder problems, and that went away when I started exercising. Because what it did is it strengthened more muscles around those areas. We are going to talk about one other thing I forgot. Kids coming up here. We're talking about reps. Talking about reps. I'm not a big guy that's a right way, wrong way, meaning there is only one true way. Not big into that. Reps, there is only one way. Okay. If you want to do this and not have elbow problems, and not have shoulder problems, this is how we train reps. This is how we train reps. Yes. Bad, 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 bad. Okay. But beyond technique, as far as hurting yourself, why is that bad? We talked about it earlier. Why is that bad? Leads off energy. Right. See it coming? Leads off energy. Slow. So, we don't do the big out and around, okay? Because remember what we talked about? We want that shot being as flat as possible, as quick as possible. Now, if you'll notice when I'm fighting, 95 to probably 98% of my shots start all the same way. So that means from your perspective, because I'm going with a still hand and still mind, everything looks the same to you. You do not know where I'm throwing. And because I've trained myself to, if I start a shot and you move to block it, I can do it. It compounds the problem for you. So, that is a long way of saying a wrap shot should look like a flat snap. This is a flat snap. Okay? This is a wrap shot. Okay. All I did was I started that plane, okay? If I started it and I flattened it out. Okay, I'm getting sword horizontal to the ground. Okay? We're going to start it. We're just going to turn it over. Okay? We're just going to turn it over. Yeah. This also goes for an offhand. Okay? So we're going to throw an offside, an offhand. Okay? We take it, and when it makes it be, we're greeting people. All right, when they come to the restaurant, and they say, man, we've been in the car for 3 hours. You guys got a bathroom? And you say, the bathroom's over there. Okay? That's all we're doing. All right? So we're starting here. That's all we're doing. Take our hands. We're not doing this. That's what we're doing. Same thing for the next step. That's all we're doing. We're reaching over the floor. Okay? We move our feet if we want to get different positions. Okay? We don't bring the hand out and around. Okay, your rotator cuff, guys. Super, super, super delicate piece of machinery. Okay? Amazing piece of equipment. You need to take care of it. Okay? These, they do that all day long, guys. So if we generate power, not in our arm and our shoulder, if we generate it by the hip, I'm going to do it like everybody else. I like to do it for forward. Okay? And I like to wear what's happening is all there. Core muscle. That's another reason why we work out. Most of your power is comes from your core. So what's core? Core is pec, abdomen, glutes, quads. Okay? This is just hanging on to it so it gets to where it's supposed to be. Okay? These are your weapons platform. These put you in a position to kill. So, if we implement these things, okay, you see how much time, how quick I got it over. Okay? So what happens is I don't spend a long time in my transition and I'm fighting it, and it's getting out there, and I'm having a hard time hanging on. Now I'm actually fighting the blow, and I'm pulling energy off of it to try to get it over. Not only are we tearing our body up, a terrible execution of transferring force into our palm, because that's how we beat a person. We put enough energy into that. So, and it's here, it's a bang. I can still control it. Okay? While we're doing this, I don't like to spend a lot of time on this. Just as far as how to throw shots, there's one other thing that I want to address, or it turns out is that we taught our people to do that's incorrect, and it's tearing them up in another way, dealing with thrust. This is essentially the thrust version of a rep. That's how we teach people to thrust. Okay? That is a tremendous strain, again, on the rotator cuff and on the elbow. Now, get your sword. Okay. Now, when I thrust at you, just knock it off line. Don't have to do it hard. Okay. Do you see how out of control I am? Do you think I have any other options once I do this? No, I'm going to throw a flat shot. I'm going to throw a flat shot offhand and go anywhere I want. All right? Now, if we thrust with our feet and our core instead of our arms, now we have a tremendous amount of control and a tremendous amount of power when we're thrusting the individual. Okay, all I did was drop it down. I closed with my feet. All right, you see where everything is? You see how everything's in line? There's no torquing on me. If he redirects the shot, see how I still have control of it? I'm not out of position. I'm not doing any of this far-reaching, slapping motion. Okay? Guess how we get good at this? Anybody? Hey! There we go. Anybody have any questions about any of that information that I covered? Anything? Right.
How do you get power on that?
It's just like when you're throwing a flat snap. Instead of hitting with this, all we're doing is we're turning it over. Okay? So it's still the same motion. So it's still coming from the hips. So just like we would with a flat snap, all I'm doing is I step through with the back foot instead of keeping this foot still. You see where I'm going? Right? I keep the foot still on a flat snap. All I'm doing is doing the same thing. And I just step through to accommodate the finishing of that shot coming around. Okay, you are bringing it around. You are bringing it around, but we're not bringing it in this huge arc. What we're doing is we're making that arc very, very, very small. Okay, and that's how and you have to practice it. You have to, because you're going to go home and you're going to throw it and you're going to do it wrong. But once you start doing it right, you're going to feel better. Your body's just, oh man, so much better on my elbow, so much better on my shoulder. So there is a certain amount of pain that you're going to go through while you're perfecting the correct technique. But I mean, that's pretty much like anything when you're trying to untrain your body to train it into new techniques. All of this stuff that we talked about, all of it. It's going to take you minimum 3 months to employ. 3 to 6 months, where you really start saying, okay, yeah, this is really starting to make sense, because you're going to be uncomfortable about it. It sucks a lot. Yeah, it's changed for you. And what's happening is you're training your body and your mind to think in a different way. And you're going to find yourself out there thinking. Now, you come to essentially, it's a sparring. What we're having this afternoon is a sparring. But what we do is we open the sparring session with a training method, okay? It's going to make a lot of this sense, or make a lot of this make sense to you, okay? You are going to be a coach. You're going to be accountable for the information that we covered today and giving feedback to the opponent. Because remember, we had 2 goals when we started out. So one, to be the best fighter that you can possibly be, but also to be a good coach. And by being a better coach, it will make you twice the fighter you are. Because what happens is it makes you think about fighting in a very different way. Because you have to know that information as a coach. Because people are coming to you to say, well, what's this or what's that? And you need to be able to look at things and evaluate. And what you can do at home is you're probably already doing it anyways. You're going on YouTube and watching fighting. Approach it from this perspective. Pull up any fighter. It doesn't matter who it is and say, there's a range issue there, there's a shot selection, there's delivery. And you need to think about, when we identify the deficiencies as you're going through it. All right? Now what's the next step? You can't just identify the deficiencies. How do we correct those deficiencies? Any fighting deficiency that we have, that I've seen so far, can be corrected by one of those drills that we've talked about today. Different tools for different things. But if you think about it in that regard, what happens is you start approaching fighting in a way that you got probably less than 1% of the fighters out there that actually approach fighting that way. Maybe, well, I'll say probably 2 or 3% of the fighters probably are approach fighting that way. Okay. And when you do that, that puts you so much further ahead. I got a guy. I don't know judo. I don't know nothing about judo. Brad works with Noah. Started coming to fight practice. He's interested. I watched. He's like, hey, check out some videos of me and judo. I'm like, oh, okay, we got a range issue there. I said, your target game sucks. You're not setting up any of your throws or your trips. What are you doing? He's like, well, how long have you been doing this? I haven't. He's like, well, then how do you know this? Fighting. And what? I said, yeah. I said, I used to box. And, I know hand-to-hand for being in the military, but it's, it's not, it's not a real discipline. It's just, down and dirty, get it done and stuff, knock people off their feet. Well, he still strong. So, it's really a lot of the mental approach and what's going on. All good fighters are the masters of those things that we talked about. Range, timing, target selection, shot selection, recovery, and your discipline. They just don't kind of do that. So that's it, guys. If you don't have any other questions, you've been here a long time. I appreciate it, your time. And again, cannot stress to you enough. If you have the opportunity to spend time with Jim Sean, you must. We're working on getting him here actually in the Indianapolis area soon. He's just busy because he just won Crown List up there a few weeks ago. So his plate's kind of full, so it might be 6 months to a year before we get him down here again. But he is a fantastic instructor. And again, I apologize for being late. I appreciate you being patient. And we're done. Get some lunch, and we're going to just do some hiking at about 1 o'clock.